Okay, hello everybody. I wanted to do something a little different, maybe explore a different teaching tool here. So I'm going to try these PowerPoints where they're narrative and they reinforce what we learn in class. They're not intended to replace what we learn in class because in class I can better explain it being right in front of you. But nonetheless, I think these are going to be a good tool. And give me your feedback. Let me know what you guys think and if you're using these presentations to learn with. Okay, let's do a brief introduction into stairs. What I want to tell you about stairs is we have to design them to fit in given spaces, and that's the interesting part of stairs because the spaces we're trying to fit them into isn't always a neat fit. And while we do this, we have to respect building codes. We can never step outside of building codes because that would be unsafe. So we're trying to design a safe set of stairs in a given space while utilizing building codes to ensure we build a safe set of stairs. We're going to do the following things. We're going to introduce the following terms. Total rise, total run, unit rise, unit run. What is a stringer? We're going to talk about the 7-inch comfortable step concept. I would like to explain the maximum rise or height code, the 3/8-inch different code, and of course we're going to calculate the number of steps and calculate the number of unit or the size of the unit rise of each step. Let's take a look at total rise. Total rise is the measurement of the distance between the surface the steps sit on to the surface of the top of the landing. So basically what we're saying is the total height of the set of stairs is the total rise. It can be a little tricky in a field to measure sometimes if the grade is unlevel. But nonetheless, it's really easy when you guys are working with like basement stairs or inside steps where you have a flat surface to put on, because you can simply extend a tape measure down to the floor and all the way up to the location of the top of the stairs where you want them to land, and you can get total rise. Total rise is important because without that, we can't calculate anything that fits in the stairs. And the whole purpose of a set of stairs is trying to figure out what's going to fit inside this total rise and in total run too. Okay, let's take a look at the term total run. Very similar to total rise. The only difference is this is the horizontal measurement that the stairs come out. This is important because we got to know where the stairs are landing in some cases, because we're trying to make that fit. Perhaps something's in the way, or we have to make sure those steps land at a particular spot to make sure it lines up with perhaps a sidewalk or something. So there's a lot of reasons why we need to know what total run is. Uh, at this time, though, we're not going to calculate it because you have to use a mathematical formula to calculate it, and we're going to do that in the near future. But it's a little different than total rise, because total rise you're able to use a tape measure and just measure the total rise of where your staircase is. But to solve for total run before the staircase is done, constructed, we have to use a mathematical equation. Okay, let's take a look at the term unit rise. Unit rise can be described as the vertical rise measurement for each step. Basically, it's the height of the step as you walk up a set of stairs. One step. Not all of them, just one. It's a unit. Uh, Units are what make the total rise. So each unit of a step added together, if you were to add them all together, would give you the total rise. So for example, suppose we have a unit rise of 7 inches, and we had 10 steps in that set of stairs. 7 times 10 would give us a total rise of 70 inches. So a unit rise of 7 inches times 10 steps will give us a total rise of 70 inches. So again, a unit rise is nothing more than one part of the total rise. Okay, let's take a look at unit run. Unit run is a lot like unit rise, except for the fact that it is the horizontal measurement, not the vertical measurement of each step. So again, unit run is the horizontal portion of each individual step. If we were to take all the unit runs in one set of stairs and add them together, then we would have the total run. So again, if we had a unit run of an 11 inches and we had 10 steps, 11 times 10 would give us a total run of 110 inches. So it can be said that unit runs make up the total run. So unit run is just a part or a unit of the total run. Okay, one important term that I want to point out to you is what a stringer is. A stringer is the main support in a set of stairs. You can have 2 or 3 stringers in one set of stairs or more. And then stringers take on different shapes and sizes. So this one right here, in this picture that I have illustrated here, is of an open stringer used to create a pair of steps. Okay, let's talk about the 7-inch comfortable step guideline. It's not really a building code, but it is something that we definitely need to know. The goal is to find the most comfortable step when people walk up a set of stairs. And 7 inches is a common one, but there could be other ones too, 6.5, 7.25, right in that range, without getting too much bigger or smaller than that. But 7 inches is a good one. Maybe if you're working with an elderly person that day, maybe you would want to reduce a 7-inch comfortable step down to 6.5 inches, just to give them that little edge getting up the stairs, making it a little bit more comfortable for them. But 7 inches on a general guideline is a good thing to do. It's considered a comfortable step. Okay, let's take a look at the maximum unit rise. This is a building code stipulation. So it's important that we follow this because we want to make sure we build a safe set of stairs. With that said, it can be a little confusing because there's actually 2 different versions of this code. One comes from the IRC, International Residential Code, and the other one comes from the state of Pennsylvania, the Uniform Construction Code. Of course, in PA, you're allowed to go up to 8.25 inches. But with the IRC, you're only going up to 7.75 inch max rise height. And the reason this code exists is simple, because we don't want to create a set of stairs that is difficult to climb because the stairs are too tall. So this is the code that keeps us making safe steps. Okay, let's take a look at the 3/8 inch rule as it applies to stairs. It is a building code, so this is a code requirement. What it states is no one step unit rise can be different than any other unit rise by more than 3/8 of an inch. And that holds true for the unit runs too. No unit run can be different from another unit run in size by more than 3/8 of an inch. Another way to look at this is the tallest step can't be different than more than 3/8 of an inch than your shortest step. The purpose of this is to create a uniform set of stairs. It would be a trip hazard if all the stairs were different sizes, so it's important to make sure that we keep each of those steps uniform in size, or really close to it, that when somebody's walking up the stairs, it wouldn't pose a trip hazard. Okay, we're going to do our first mathematical computation. What we're going to do is determine the number of steps in the staircase. Based on the idea that 7 inches is the most comfortable step, we want to figure out how many of those steps we're going to fit in there. So it's going to take the total rise, and again, total rise is the distance from the finished floor all the way up to the top finished floor. So the distance from what you're going to go from the first level up to the second level when you climb the set of stairs. So in this example, we're going to use a total rise of 105.5, or 100.5 inches, you could say. If we take that 105.5 divided by 7, we get a calculation of 15.07 and so on. It's quite a long number there. But the good news is we don't need to have that whole number. What we got to do is round that to the nearest whole step. And when we do that, we realize we're going to have 15 steps total. So again, in conclusion, what we did, we took the total rise and we divided it by a comfortable step. In this case, it's 7 inches. And that gave us the number of steps. Okay, now that we took the time to actually figure out the number of steps that are going to be in this particular staircase, what we need to know now is what is the size of each one of those steps. So we know we have 15 steps, but what is the size of each of those steps? Well, the formula for this is simple. You take the total rise, which in this case is 105.5, and we divide by the number of steps we just found in the previous step, which is 15. And that will give us the unit rise. So 105.5 divided by 15 gives us 7.0334. And I rounded that to the 4th place because the 4th place is far enough for accuracy purposes. Okay, one of the things we have to do is be able to use this measurement in the right form, because we're never going to be able to find 7.0334 on a tape measure because tape measures read by the 16th of an inch. So we got to convert this decimal into a fraction. And then once we have that fraction, we will be able to find that on our tape measure so we could actually build this set of stairs. So what we do is we take the remainder of the decimal. In this case, since the number is 7.0334, we're going to take the remainder, and that is 0.0334, and multiply it by 16. When we do this, we find the answer of 0.5344. We now have to round that answer up to or down to, depending on which way you round, but in this case we're rounding up because rounding rules state that anything above 0.5 or up goes up. So it rounds to 1. We place the answer over 16, so the answer becomes 1/16. And the total answer of 7 1/16. So we took the decimal form of 7.0334 and we converted it into the measurement form of 7 1/16 of an inch. It takes a little practice, but it's really not as bad as it looks. Just practiced a few times converting decimals to fractions. Of course, eventually we're going to have to convert it back. That's easy enough in this case. You just take 1 and divide it by 16 and you converted it back. But this is how you convert a decimal to a fraction to be able to measure it on a tape measure.